I can't be telling someone to change. I can't just tell them to change. I have to educate them and plant seeds so they can make their own decisions. I'm not telling anyone to go vegan. I'm just telling you all the benefits that comes with it, and that it really is a good investment.
Hello, Ander. It's a pleasure
Hi.
to have you here. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me on here.
Yes,
Awesome. I'm happy to spread the awareness about veganism and just health in general.
For sure. No, and for those that don't know, you are son of Dr. Tiwi. She is super
Yes.
loved in the community here and internationally. So I'm pretty sure that the audience will receive your message with the same love as well. So thank you for your time today.
No worries.
The first question, Ander, that I have is, when did you decide that you would adopt a vegan lifestyle, and why?
Okay, awesome. Well, that question with me is pretty straightforward. I mean, I'm 17. I'm currently 17. I am in year 11 of school, so I'm going through that stage of, socially getting to know people, making decisions in my life with education and, all surrounding that stage. I decided that I was going to go vegan around 2 to 3 years ago. That's when I was in that stage of contemplating whether to or not, and really learning a lot about it. So the way it started was, I've always been really slim. So my body build is quite slim myself. And that's always been like that since a young child. I used to eat a lot of meat, a lot of chicken nuggets. I used to drink a lot of meat, milk, and lots of eggs. I used to eat everything. I used to be a big meat eater, and animal products. I used to never think twice about the consequences or the things that my actions could, be affecting many animals or the environment and my health. So the way it all came about was, I was once walking in the street. I know it sounds really textbook, but I was with my friend, and we were approached very, formally and nicely by this young man who offered us $1 to watch a 1-minute video of some animals in a slaughterhouse. And because we were young, because we were like 15 years old, and we just, whatever, we wanted $1. We were eating our meat burgers. We were eating our meat burgers as we were going past. We said, of course, sure. So we sat down, we watched the video, and I didn't think much of it. I'm like, okay, yes, I know that's horrible, but there's better ways to do it. I said, there's better ways to do it. It's the food chain. That was what my excuse was. But my friend, on the other hand, his name is Henry, he was really impacted by it, and he never really enjoyed the taste of meat anyways. So he thought, okay, I'm definitely going to go vegetarian or vegan. He looked more into it, and because I would go to his house a lot, I would, be influenced by the type of foods he was eating. Until I really looked into it. I became obsessed with reading documentaries, watching videos, learning about it, all about veganism. And it came to a point a few months after that I knew so much that I felt so bad not to do anything about it. I would have never ever thought. Yeah, exactly. I would have never ever thought to myself that I was going to go vegan. I used to be the biggest meat eater. I would have made fun of a vegan even. But it really like hit me hard when I thought, okay, this happens, that happens, that. There's so much that people don't know about that is just so relevant to us that I have to do something about it. So I became really, independent, and looked into what diet I need to take, things like that. Especially my mum being a doctor, she monitored me at the start, seeing that making sure that I was taking all the nutritional, requirements I needed for my age and all that. So that's a good thing, and that's really much how I became vegan. At first, I was really angry. I was really angry with people. I would not approach people nicely. I would tell them, go vegan, this, that, and I would come across as really militant. And that's not the way to do it. The way to do it, because everyone starts somewhere. Everyone most people aren't born vegan. I wasn't born vegan, so I've got to understand that everyone else thinks the same way that I used to think about vegans. So I must approach them in a caring way, in a way that I understand them. And instead of demanding them to do something or telling them, I kind of just feed them some information and, say, oh, you should try this out. It's actually very, helpful. But yeah, that's mostly how I just became vegan. Since then, I haven't turned back, and I don't think I ever will.
Wow.
There's lots of foods and lots of things that I never knew about that out there. Abundance of fruit, vegetables, grains, legumes, all those kind of things. There's so many.
That's a fascinating story, Ander, because very unusual, and very interesting how you made that decision, and you have kept that commitment of like your lifestyle. So congratulations for that. And also it's very mature of you, like to understand that people want like change straight away either. And now you are in that process of sharing and in the process of perhaps educating people as you are doing today. So well done for that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And so once you change to a vegan lifestyle, which one are the benefits that you saw before and after, like in your body, in your lifestyle, in your mind, perhaps?
So this is how I put it. You can't become vegan and start eating bananas and bread. You have to you can't just feed off that, because then you will become unhealthy. You have to put in a little bit of work to look into what you have to eat, because you may not be so familiar with the change. Other things contain protein in them that you may need to eat because you're not eating meat anymore, which is high in protein, but also high in cholesterol and saturated fat. So here's the thing. As soon as I became vegan, I became like, I don't want to sound biased or anything, but I truly just became slightly more awakened. I felt it. Also, sleep is a big factor. If you don't get sleep, you can't just feel like a superhero after you become vegan. There's lots of things that need to be taken into consideration, but in general, my joints just felt different because I used to play a lot of tennis, soccer, so I just felt a lot healthier like this. And I just felt in my conscience, I felt very awakened. I felt like I was feeding myself a garden instead of a graveyard. That's how I put it. But just in general, in general, in my head, knowing that I wasn't contributing, because people don't litter because it makes much of a change. People don't litter because they know it's wrong. It's just not a thing you should do, because it builds up over time. By being vegan, you're not contributing to the slaughter and mass, exploitation of billions and trillions of animals annually, unnecessarily. So you're not contributing to that, and that for yourself is a really good thing to know. And as well as spreading the change. I see it like this: being vegan is what we should all be. Being a vegan activist, sharing it, being an activist is even better. But we should all start being vegan. Being vegan isn't enough. You need to be an activist to change, to really make a difference. That's how I see it. But just in general, just really knowing that I had become vegan and was helping a lot of animals, helping a lot of the environment, things like that. I can bring up facts later on and credible sources, but that's just the bottom line, how I felt.
How you feel. That's awesome. And what are the challenges that, for example, you faced during that transition? Did it happen overnight? How was your journey? If you can share a little bit more about it, and how you overcome those challenges.
Of course, because I'm still a kid. When I first
Yeah.
became vegan, I would get a lot of hate and a lot of, you know, teasing here and there at school and at home, my siblings. But I fully blocked that out. That's a really big factor to overcome when becoming vegan. I fully blocked that out, and instead I try to educate them surrounding the subject. A lot of people just didn't want to hear it and just blew me off, said, "Go away, blah blah blah. That's horrible. Like,
Okay.
why are you going vegan? You're a little girl. You, you know, a lot of weird stereotypes. Like, you meditate in the hills, like just random stuff. But in reality, lots of celebrities are vegan, that they are really inspiring people to many other people. So I don't see
Mhm.
what the problem is. It's just a diet and a way of thinking. You know,
Mhm.
veganism is, it's a philosophy. It's not just a plant-based diet. So a lot of things that you have to overcome is, you know, for example, bullying you may come across, a lot of little embarrassing situations that are very minimal compared to the difference you can make with veganism. But just things like that, like, you know, going to the dinner table at a friend's house and telling them, oh, unfortunately, this is how my diet has changed now. Um, I am very sorry, I won't be able to eat your food tonight. But in that context, it may sound really, you know, what's the word, inconvenient and embarrassing, but it's that they should be able to understand if they really support you and if they are good family friends, things like that. But
Mhm.
what else? You know, just the health aspect. I love how, you know, the internet loves to point out at the minimal, at the one situation that happened out of all the vegan situations. Let me explain. So let's
Mhm.
say 100 people go, vegan, and one or two get sick because they don't know how to follow a diet. The internet loves to point at those people and say, oh my goodness, look, veganism is very unhealthy, this is what it does to you. But they're not looking at all the other benefits it has for you. They're just looking at the people that weren't able to, you know, follow a proper diet. Because if you
Mhm.
don't know what you're eating or what you need to put in yourself, of course you're going to get sick. That's with everything. Um,
Mhm.
but that's another thing. You have to do your research. You can't just go off the top of your head. You have to go shopping. You can go shopping in a very tight budget, a very, very cheap tight budget. Rice, corn, you know, beans, legumes, lentils, tempeh, seitan. They're the cheapest foods um, in the countries. They're grown by countries, and they sell for really cheap. I would argue that steak and fish are much more expensive than these simple, you know, plant foods.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are just some challenges that I have faced, and keeping my cool. You know, when I'm talking about veganism, I must keep my cool. I have to come across, you know, as friendly. I can't just be militant, and otherwise it just won't work. Like, it's
When did,
understandable that,
yeah.
yeah.
When did you started to realize? Because that's a great change, and I can see that growth in you. Because
Mm,
yeah, when we are like so passionate about something, we want to tell the world about the
yeah.
benefits and all that. When did you notice that perhaps your approach might not be the best one, and then you
Oh yeah,
change? Wait, how has that happened? That's very
of
interesting.
course. Yeah, it's just when I really started getting comments from people saying, and I really don't like the way you speak to me when you say this. And then as soon as I bring up veganism, they're just like, stop, stop, don't talk to me. And then that's when I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I don't like the way, I don't like
Okay.
the way that people are speaking to me. It must be something I'm doing. Even though I'm in the right, I can't, you know, I can't be telling someone um, to change. I can't just tell them to change. I have to educate them and plant seeds so they can make their own decisions. I'm not telling anyone to go vegan. I'm just saying, telling you all the benefits that comes with it, and that it really is a good investment, and really, really, really is easy. It's very easy. It's just picking out the soy milk instead of the cow's milk. There's soy, you know, coconut, oat. There's so many other milks that you can go for. But why drink the milk of another species? That's so strange to me. You know, there's no other species in the world that drinks the species of drinks the milk of another species except for humans. Have you, like, I've never seen a zebra drink out of a cow's udder. You know, I've never, you know, an elephant milk is for elephant baby. Human milk is for human babies. And then past the age of 2 or 3, I don't know how, what age, you know, humans stop drinking breast milk from their mothers. But once they do, they don't need another drop of milk in their entire life. And we are very lucky to have plant milks, which is the natural way to go. But yeah, that's honestly when I just figured out, okay, I need to change my approach with people when I started getting hate like that.
Yeah, no, friend, no, friend. That was very smart that you realized and then you made the change. Well done. And you mentioned that you have like some sources where you start to learn about it. And can you share some of them with us so we can also learn more about it?
Okay, so I really, really recommend straight away hopping off this interview for anyone who has a bit of spare time, half an hour to a bit over half an hour, to go watch a video on YouTube. It is called Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky. And then in brackets it says updated. So this video is of a very, very intelligent man that I look up to personally, who has been vegan for I don't know how many years, but is very knowledgeable. He is very straight to the point, and the way he explained things really is astounding. He gives out a speech to a bunch of university students, and he talks about veganism in a way that really, really makes you. It's eye-opening, honestly. There's no gore in it. There's a small section, 1 to 2 minutes of animals in slaughterhouses. You can skip through that if you like, but ask yourself this question: if it's not good enough for your eyes, then why is it good enough for your stomach? You know, we must see the process of our food. Why is that so bad to show kids? Of course, because we don't like the look of that. We're not naturally supposed to get hungry from looking at that footage. So yeah, the video once again is called Gary Yourofsky. Gary Yourofsky, best speech you'll ever hear. And then in brackets, it is updated.
Cool. That's in YouTube, right? Yeah.
It's on YouTube. It goes for about 45 minutes. It's amazing. It is amazing. He explains everything in a much better way than I do. Also, I look up to James Aspey. He's a vegan activist who has his own YouTube channel with so many sources and so many videos of all kinds of topics you want to know about. So his name is James Aspey. And then there's Joey Carbstrong. My mum may have already mentioned some of these people.
Yes,
Joey Carbstrong, he's very amazing as well. And then for websites, there's things like Gary Yourofsky, the first guy, Gary Yourofsky's adapt.org website, and the All About Veganism section. That's very, very good. Then the documentaries, there's What the Health on Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's about health. There's Cowspiracy, which is about the environment mostly, and ethics. There's Forks Over Knives, which is a very, very interesting one. It's just like surrounding veganism in general. And there's The Game Changers, which I highly recommend. It came out, I think, just a year ago in the cinemas. It's a documentary, it goes, I think, for a bit over an hour. It's like a documentary with many, many, many athletes that have become vegan, talking about their stories and talking about how they feel it has changed. Olympians, many, many, many people that say that they have enhanced, their performance has enhanced. And
high performance athletes, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. What's another one off the top of my head? So a good website and like a group, like a social group in Adelaide, South Australia, is Anonymous for the Voiceless. So these people, Anonymous for the Voiceless, I once was a part of them. They do this cube of truth thing. So I'll explain to you. They go out in a group, a bunch of volunteers, just general people from the public, vegans, and they go out to, for example, Rundle Mall, and they wear these anonymous masks that give give the impression that they don't judge you when you are watching this footage, because they stand in a cube, you know, in like a square facing the outside, and as people walk past, they see these screens that the Anonymous for the Voiceless people are holding up with their mask, and the screens, you know, show slaughterhouse footage, and it really impacts people when they see that, because they, you know, they're intrigued, and as they walk up to the cube of truth, that's what they call it, there's a few other people from Anonymous for the Voiceless that are wearing an Anonymous for the Voiceless shirt that walk up to you, and they say, oh, what do you think of this? You know, they start talking to you in a nice way. They don't approach you. They wait till you approach them to then have a nice approach on you. Yeah, exactly. And this is like, because this is physically and in person, it's really good. And they give out like brochures and, you know, sources and links to just ways to start a vegan lifestyle. And Anonymous for the Voiceless first was founded in Melbourne, and it has now spread worldwide. So all around the world, there's people that here, I'll show you. There's you know, cubes of truth all around the world, and this is just generally how it looks like. I'll just show you. So here it is. They stand like that, and this is all around the world. And as people walk past in the mall, they approach, and it's a really, really, really good positive.
So if you approach them, they talk to you, but they want to approach you first.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah, they most likely won't approach you first unless they see that you are interested. But until you approach and you stand there for a while looking at whatever, you know, it may be, they then approach you and ask you questions about what you think about veganism. Then they, you know, feed you with a bit of information, tell you this, that, and then most of the time it intrigues people even more. But I was a part of that one time, and when I had a bit of spare time, and it was really great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And being so young, like, you will have like heaps of opportunities to build that new movement, I guess, a new generation of people with more conscious about the environment or health, and how we can like protect the planet, and obviously our bodies as well. Any advice for example, a person that after watching your interview today, they want to learn more about it, or perhaps they are ready to make a change? What would you say to them?
So what I say to people is, it's always better to be fully vegan and adopt a vegan lifestyle. You know, don't go to circuses, aquariums, don't wear leather, or don't buy new leather at least. You know, things, just simple things like that, which really is impacting to these animals that are getting, you know, absolutely slaughtered every year. But I say to them, go slow. If you find it a bit hard because you love the taste of cheese, you love the taste of meat, but you really, really want to try it out, then go slow and try for a week. Try for a week to not eat any sort of meat. Try to go shopping and only buy vegan or mostly vegan, and see how you go, see how you feel. Because our number one killer in the world is heart disease, surprisingly. And every year it is heart disease, and it is directly correlates with saturated fat and cholesterol that is in animal fats and comes in meat. And this has been announced by the World Health Organization, that you know, red meats and salami, all these
cholesterol,
meats, are very high in cholesterol and are carcinogenic in the same stage as asbestos, plutonium, and tobacco as well. Like, it impacts you that much, and the evidence is there. I mean, if you just look at the amount of deaths annually, you can just see that it is not meant for us. Meat is not meant for us. Here, I have some things here. So
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's also good. Uh-huh.
yeah, so where does everybody think diseases come from? Broccoli, banana? No, animal products and animal protein fats remain the main cause of every major disease. And here I link it again. Check out the All About Veganism section on Gary Yourofsky's adapt.org website. He has now linked to more than 50 medical studies proving that veganism is the healthiest way to live by far. Heart disease is the number one killer in the planet, as I mentioned before. And it is directly caused by saturated fat and cholesterol, which is only found in animal products, clogging up your arteries. Processed meat like red steak, ham, salami, cold steaks, etc., have all been classified as group 1 carcinogen. Okay? But all of our main diseases, heart disease, heart attacks, strokes, most of cancers, prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, pancreas cancer, all these sort of cancers, they are all directly correlated by, just consuming too much animal products. And I say too much because, of course, if you eat a little bit of meat, you won't get cancer straight away. But this is just proof that it is bad for us. What does the doctor always say to you? Eat less meat, eat more vegetables. But I highly disagree with a lot of what the food pyramid tells you. It is there because it is giving you the information you need of how much protein you need to consume regarding meat. So it says, eat this amount of meat, but it doesn't say if you don't eat it, you'll be unhealthy. Because everyone knows that if you go on a vegan diet, you can thrive and be healthy just as much or even better. So that instantly makes eating meat unnecessary. Because what other reason do we eat meat for? There isn't any, except for taste. We like the taste of it. It is convenient. But there is no justification that justifies this amount of pain caused upon all animals. And let me explain something to you. I get a lot of people tell me, I don't care about animals. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go vegan, but I care about humans. I care about humans. I don't care about animals. So I'd say to them, if you care about humans, let me explain something. Because cows eat a lot more than humans do. So we are feeding cows, we are artificially inseminating cows in order to mass breed them to be able to feed all humans in the world, because the demand for meat is so high. So because we have so many cows being bred into existence, we are using so many resources, water, grain, wheat, to feed those cows. Space. We could be using all those resources and food to feed starving humans, because cows eat a lot more than humans, and we only get a little bit of meat back from the amount of resources that we put into that cow. If that makes sense. I don't know if that if I explained it well.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
We obtain about 12 times less resources of food from growing a cow than what we put into it. I don't. No,
it totally makes sense.
As soon as I tell them that, as soon as I tell people that, they say, okay, that's interesting. I know what you mean. So they, most of the time, they just shut their mouth and be quiet. But I say that to a lot of people who say that as well. I say, if we were to switch around and in the slaughterhouses fill it up with cats and dogs instead of cows, pigs, chickens, and fish, then people would be outraged, right? But why? Why is this? Why do we come into this world and pick out what species we decide should be slaughtered and what species we decide should be treated as pets and should be treated with respect? That's not for us to say. I mean, I'm sure any person or most people, if we saw a pig getting beat in the street, getting kicked to death by a human for absolutely no reason, or just to, eat the flesh afterwards, just being kicked and beat on the street, I'm sure you'd feel uncomfortable. You'd want to do something about it, tell them to stop or call someone, right? But what if I was to put a brick wall between you and that pig getting beat? You can still walk around and stop the abuse, but you can't see it happening, Would you still do something about it? Because that's interesting to think about, because that's what's happening now. In slaughterhouses, we can't see what's happening, but we know that it's happening. We can stop it. We can at least not contribute to it with our penny. Supply demand. It means a lot. if you don't buy that meat off the shelf, then it stays there for someone else to take, and then they restock slower. And I personally, I'm only one person that has become vegan, but I've made my mum go vegan, I've made my brother go vegan, my dad, my sister isn't yet, but I've made a lot of friends go vegan. I'm not like surprisingly, I wouldn't have thought that I could make such a change, but my friend Rafe, his mum buys a lot more vegan food now. My girlfriend, they always make vegan food when I come over. They buy a lot more vegan food. You know, just it's like a ripple effect. I spread the word and it just goes around. So it's very important to think about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I've been speaking for so long, but I'm so passionate.
I love it, and I appreciate your passion and your information, because yeah, you can see the conviction in your tone of, yeah, you can hear the conviction in your lifestyle. So that's great. And any last advice that you would give, for example, to someone in this holiday season?
So there's a thing called like, it is very spot on the timing. So because there's a thing called Veganuary, right? So it is a 31-day challenge where you attempt to go vegan for 31 days in January. So it is called Veganuary. And I highly recommend for everyone to try this. Even if you don't finish the full 31 days, but it says try here. I have it up, just the website.
Yes.
It is try vegan this January. Sign up now, and you get a free personal nutritionist that runs you through a shopping list. You can go get lots of tips and tricks, and you get support as you go. There's eating guides. You get involved. There's a blog. You can record every step you have gone through, and it is very, very simple. And I highly recommend it. I honestly highly recommend it.
Okay, that's great. So don't start just yet in December, but start in January. I think that's better, right?
Start today if you can. Start today if you want to. But this is a very for people who are beginners and don't know much of where to look or what to do. This is a good support team, and
okay, perfect.
It's great. It says here over 1 million participants since 2014, all around the world. Here, menus. It gives you vegan foods you can look at.
That's a great website. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. It's a great movement. Definitely.
Yes, like a community as well, because that's what you want as well. When you started to make a change, you want that support and to hear other stories. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great, Ander. And thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge, and for your experience. And I can see you're going to be a great activist. You are already, and I wish you all the success in all the projects that you have in the future, because you're a leader. Well done.
Thank you. Just one last thing.
Yes.
I definitely want everyone, after watching this or listening to this, to go check out, first thing, more than all the documentaries I mentioned, the Gary Yourofsky Best Speech You'll Ever Hear Updated on YouTube. It's very easy to find. It is on YouTube. Best Speech You'll Ever Hear Updated. It goes for about 45 minutes, and it is amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. And because a lot of people, they don't know what happens in the slaughterhouses. The industries don't want us to know. And not only does this guy explain it in such a good way, understanding way, but he explains a lot in a small amount of time. It's mind open. It's it's very inspiring nonetheless. You don't have to see it as a vegan video. You can just see it as an educational video. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. We put the link for people to watch us. So, excellent. And we'll include the resources that you have shared as well. So thank you for that. And if you like this video, please comment. If you have any question for Ander as well, what's the best way for people to follow you? Which
ANDER.FIGU. That's just my username. They can just find me, request to message me, and I'll make sure to be checking. But it's just Ander.Figueroa. And thank you.
No, thank you, Ander, and have a great day, and Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Thank you very
Okay.
much.